Hey, good afternoon all. This is Narayanan. I am your host today for this webinar. Thank you for registering and joining this webinar, and thank you for your continuous support on using Synergita for your employee performance management. Today's topic is about OKR for the better business growth. Rajaraman and Jayaraman, Raj, as we call him, is a presenter, and he's from the solutioning team, and he is involved in the early stages of OKR. Today he will be talking about more about the Synergita OKR modules and functionalities. Here is a certain set of housekeeping instructions. I'm just sharing my screen and I'm going to move over to Raj. Just give me a minute. Okay. Thank you all. So here is a set of housekeeping instructions. All phones are set to mute. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat window. We have already received several questions. We'll answer the questions towards the Q&A session. We'll continue to collect more questions and receive it. In case you do not receive answers from you, you can expect it soon over an email. Over to you, Raj. Thank you.
Thank you, Narayanan.
Sure, Raj.
Narayanan, are you able to see my screen? Hello, Narayanan. Narayanan, are you able to see my screen now? Narayanan, are you able to see my screen? Narayanan, I have shared my screen. Is my screen live out there?
Yes, Raj.
Thank you all for joining for the session. Thank you, Narayanan, for the introduction. So as you see, OKR, this is the latest jargon that we come across in the performance management market. Primarily in the US, if you see, say more than say 20 years, this particular model has been there. And bigger organizations like LinkedIn and Google, they have already implemented this. Comparatively, it is an evolving concept in India. Not many organizations have got this organization management model. called OKR. So let's start with the definition, and we'll see the other key factors cutting across different dimensions in objectives and key results. OKR is a management methodology where the management clearly defines as well as redefines, as and when required, their objectives and key results. And in many setups, we would have come across scenarios like each and every department in the organization claiming that they have done their part pretty well, they have done a fantastic job department-wise, but the same may not be reflecting in the bottom line of the organization. To avoid this kind of situation, or to understand where exactly things went wrong, we have to do the basic analysis on, are we measuring the right things? When every department claims that they have done their part pretty well, how come it is not reflecting in the final, the main goal of the organization? So that is where the thought for redefining ourselves and identifying really measure what really matters for us. That is where this concept becomes pretty important for us. And as you see, objectives deals with the what. What do you want to achieve actually? Generally, objectives are ambitious, they are inspirational in nature, and it sets the direction as well as the strategy of the organization. So that is what the objective is all about. What do you want to achieve is the objective. Moving on further, the key results. Key results deal with how are we going to achieve these objectives. That is what key result is all about, whereby the objective is graded and the key results are generally measurable. They are quantitative in nature in general, and that makes the employee a little bit uncomfortable. And if you connect the, if you achieve all the key results, automatically the objective gets fulfilled. So that is how the objectives and key results are connected. Let us see a few examples on what is OKR. For example, in my organization, I want to increase the sales in a particular region. For that, I have got 3 key results. Here, I'm going to clearly define how am I going to achieve this. And here, that is what I'm going to measure. I'm not going to measure how much my individual sales employee achieved on a particular period, maybe a week or whatever it is. Here, the primary focus is not that one, but how am I going to achieve this? For example, achieve the sales target of X crores. That is my first key result. And if you look at the second one, here I'm going to increase my average deal size to X lakh. And the third key result will be, I don't want my customers leaving the product, so I would reduce the churn rate from Y to X%. So this is how it is going to be. As you see, basically the key result gives you the driver, or it tells you how are we going to achieve the final objective. And the next example will be like, for example, you create a WOW workplace culture. To create the WOW workplace culture, first of all, we will have to define what is our WOW, or what are our WOW factors for the organization, and let us promote them in various through various means and ways. And once it's all done, the next key result will be conduct quarterly WOW survey among all employees, just to make sure that the WOWs are really are existing as WOW, and that's how we have to take things further. And in another dimension, I would like to highlight one more example whereby the company OKR, for example, obtaining ISO certification or any quality certification for that matter. Company's objective is winning the quality certification. For this, all the departments have to work together, as we know. For example, the quality department is the key department whereby they will define the different templates, policies, processes, procedures of internal auditing, and they will train resources internally from various departments, and all departments will have their own internal champions, and every department has to ensure that whatever the standards which are set for that department are taken care, they are adhered, and things are pretty well documented as per the standards expectation. So this is how the company OKR is, broken into different departments or teams, or even cutting across different teams, their OKRs. So this is how the alignment happens basically. Let us see the types of OKR. As you see, we have got by and large three major types here: company, team, and individual. And the company OKR is generally influences the team OKR as well as individuals OKR. And another dimension will be committed and aspirational. Committed OKR, for example, it gives the basic last year whatever the kind of targets we had. From there, let us say take it for example, 10 to 20% hike, right, in the overall target. If we do that, it becomes a committed. This is just an example. That becomes a committed OKR. We clearly know that we can definitely achieve this. Or say for example 50%. So we can clearly know, or we reprioritize, we change our positioning internally, our own job responsibilities, and ensure that this is taken care. And if you look at the aspirational OKR, though we do not know how are we going to achieve, we still would like to put that as part of our aspirational OKR. Maybe the target may be like say 200% increased target, for example. That is about aspirational one, where we do not know how are we going to achieve that. Still, we would like to include that as part of our aspirational target. Moving further, let us see the differences between OKR and the KPI. Generally, in the performance market, we hear all these jargons: SMART goals, KRA, KPI, etc. Here, John Doerr, the OKR evangelist, clearly highlights the major difference between OKR and then the KPI. In his language, we'll see the differences over here. KPI primarily deals with employees' routine activities and day-to-day work, for example. It's all transactional in nature, whereas the OKR deals with organizations' objectives, strategy-oriented. So that's how the primary difference lies between these two. We will see that in detail. Narayan, shall we have the poll?
Yeah, we have about 60% saying good understanding about OKR and 40% saying no. Yeah, it's both ways as such. It's almost 30 seconds, and I'm closing the poll. Yeah, people are still rating it. 67% yes and 33% no. Yeah. So I'm closing this poll, and you'll be able to see the result right here. About 67, yeah, 67% of people saying yes, I have a good understanding of OKR, and 33% of saying no. Go ahead.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for your voting, and let's move on. To further understand the differences between OKR and then the KPI, OKR are generally ambitious in nature, and here we are measuring the outcome and not the output. the output, for example, it can be like the transactional or the operational one, where we are clearly identifying what really occurs. Whereas in the outcome, what really matters is the one where we see the outcome as such. OKR is all about the strategic framework, and KPI is a measurement within the framework. And OKR sets the direction, and KPI deals with the transactional part of it. And OKR sets the drivers for meeting those objectives, and KPIs deal with the results achieved by individual employee. And OKR is all about organization, and KPI deals primarily with the employees, own goals and KRAs. So let us get to have, introduced to some interesting personalities with regard to OKR. We have Andy Grove, who is the father of OKR, the former CEO Intel Corporation. And he was the one who created this entire OKR theory, and he started spreading that across the organization. And from where John Doerr picked up as a disciple of Andy Grove, and he started further working on that. And for over, say, over a decade, he has been working with different organizations, starting with Google, where OKR was implemented when Google was having, say, 70 employees by then. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, has got high regards for both the theory as well as John Doerr. And he used to sit during the initial times, he used to sit in the individual reviews of the OKR, the management, the company OKR. He used to sit on each and every reviews, and he used to analyze and improve upon those things. So he really appreciates OKR. Google has really achieved the excellence by implementing OKR. Till date, they are successfully running the show. And for further read, we would recommend you to read the book Measure What Matters by John Doerr. And on the process side, let us see how the OKR flows as such. It starts with all the way from the company side, where the leadership team, they brainstorm and they clearly identify areas to focus either this year or this quarter, and make sure that the OKR is designed, framed clearly, and that is published. Once the company OKR is published, then from there, the team or the employee, they draw their objectives and key results. Post which the employee keeps updating his own progress, and the manager can do the overall status tracking. And finally, the objective is met with. And now come the important aspect of OKR. Suppose we want to implement OKR for our organization. What are the points that we should remember, and are we ready for that? Can I implement OKR for my organization? How will that be taken internally by all employees? And what are the factors that I should analyze? And let us remember, OKR is a cultural change, or I would say cultural challenge for the organization. Not that every organization has got this kind of readiness, right? The major attributes of OKR, as we know, it deals with transparency, frequency, and focused. And when we say transparency, it's all about the lowermost employee in the corporate ladder getting to see the entire organization's all employees OKR sheet. As a junior most employee, I will be able to view my CEO's OKR sheet, and what has he achieved so far. I'll be able to view his sheet. Are we ready for this? Is my organization culturally, are my managers, are my employees, are we ready for sharing what have I achieved so far to my team member or the other department staff? And frequency. OKR advises, the recommendation here is to have a quarterly periodicity so that the overall process can become agile, and you can also carry on mid-course correction. For example, in the first quarter, we had set of objectives and key results. Partially, we identified that a few key results are one or two objectives are not relevant anymore, which we can very well relinquish in the next quarter. We can create new objectives and key results, and whatever we feel like are still not required or still not relevant, we can very well omit them. So that is where the advantage of mid-course correction comes into picture with the help of the frequency factor here. So we use quarterly period as per the recommendation, and that's how it goes. And focused. In OKR, we are going to clearly define these are my objectives. For example, as an employee, I will have 2 objectives or 3 objectives, in which each objective will have 2 to 3 key results. So this is what I'm going to focus for this quarter. Apart from this, I will not spend my time, efforts, and energy in anything else other than the identified and recorded ones. These objectives and key results are the ones where I'm going to be focusing my efforts. As simple as that. We cannot have say 5 things in the name of priority 1, correct? Similarly, we are going to clearly identify this is what I'm going to do in this quarter and carry on, put our energy only in achieving those factors. As simple as that. And the outcome driver, as we already know, it's going to be an outcome driver factor rather than a goal setting exercise. It is not an employee goal setting exercise, but organization's performance evaluation model as such. Though there are few organizations who try to use this as a performance, employee performance tool, still the recommendation is to use this as an organization performance and management tool. And then we also will have OKR ambassadors, whereby we will identify internal employees from different departments, and we would train them, make them OKR ambassadors, so that they will help the organization and all other employees to imbibe and habituate the OKR culture. These are the major activities that we have to do. When you implement the OKR, so that is where I normally say that 60% of OKR is done by the customer organization, and only 40% or 30%, I would say, is taken care by the software. So here, the software is a technology enabler. As simple as that. The culture is pretty important here. It has to be, habituated among the employees. During the first year or first, say, 6 months, it's going to be a challenging factor. Even to write OKR, employees are going to feel a huge amount of challenges, and we may be ending up getting checklists, KPIs, right? So that is where this series of educative sessions and internal discussions, team-based, are pretty important, and they will come in handy to help us to increase the OKR awareness inside the organization. As the employees start doing, so let us share the success stories and the benefits so that the employees understand OKR in detail, and they will have their own interest in doing things rather than working for external push, right? So the user adoption will be much more voluntarily. The employees will come forward maybe after a couple of quarters as he understands the OKR, and taste of that, he automatically will work on his own OKR, and down the line he becomes ambassador. And let us also remember to reward good OKRs and publish that in the organization's wall of appreciation. And our another recommendation is not to tie the OKR to salary revision, because primarily the OKR, as we know, it is an aspirational factor. Here, the organization, for example, last year, the organization achieved 1 crore of profit. And this year we are planning for 3 crores, which is like, say, more than, say, 100%, right? So that is where we want the aspirational dimension to be imbibed among the all employees. If the team or the employee, if they have this kind of ambitious targets, and if they are not able to meet out that target, obviously they will lose their salary revision. So no employee will be interested in having an ambitious target. Rather, they would prefer to stick on to, say, 20% or 30% hiked target compared to the previous year or previous period. So that is where we do not want to have those kind of inhibitions from the employee. The employee has to be ambitious, innovative, and all the way he has to keep hitting the focused areas time and again. So let him do that at peace, and we will remove the connection between the salary revision and the OKR. It's time for a poll. Narayan?
Yes, I have a quick poll here. So this asks about I want to implement OKR within my organization. Yes, I'm getting 100% yes right now. Wow. I'll wait for 10 more seconds. Usually the poll goes for 30 seconds. Wow, that's really great, right? So we got 100% poll saying that they want to implement OKR. I'm closing the poll. Over to you, Raj.
Great. Thank you for your interest. Really appreciate it. So moving on further, as we move on to the definition part of it, the company OKR is defined, and the first step, as we know, the leadership team brainstorms and they identify what they want to achieve in this year or the quarter. And so as we see, the areas should be focused and very less in the number. For example, maybe a couple of objectives and key results should do, and that should be aspirational in nature. From the organization's OKR, the team OKR are drawn, whereby the functional head or the OKR ambassadors can convene team level discussions, catching up in the conference room, and make sure that the organization OKR is understood by the employees, number one, the teams, and then the team OKR are basically drafted. And once the drafting part is done, the functional head can question the teams, right? Teams would have drafted, say, teams within the teams also we may have sub teams. So there may be brainstorming sessions, and the functional head can simulate a kind of Q&A session whereby the teams can discuss among themselves on how are we relating ourselves, these objectives and key results from our side to the company's OKR. That analysis on the alignment part can be promoted on a regular basis, and how the team OKR is going to really add value to the organization's OKR. This exercise will make sure that the teams are understanding OKR very well. They also get to understand the significant factors behind the organization OKR, and then make sure that there are no KPIs or checklists are brought into the OKR bucket. So all these things can be achieved through this kind of sessions. Similarly, we can have the employee level OKR on a quarterly basis, where the employee can draft his own OKR. That is how he should be promoted. And initially, it will be like it may be like a push for situation till the time employee gets the taste of OKR. The first say, 1 to 3 quarters are going to be pretty much challenging. The employees have to understand, first of all, what is this OKR all about and why am I doing this? That too, if the organization already has a SMART goals set up, why should I be doing that? The OKR on part of the on top of the SMART goals. So that is where we want the organizations to understand as well as communicate to the employees the difference between these two. For the overall performance of the organization, it is like I can say two train tracks as such. It will be a parallel tracks, right? We have rails as such. So one will be organization performance, where we get to understand the OKR part of it for organization, teams, and the employee. And other side, we can have the employee KPIs taken care. So the employee has to be educated. There is no, ready reckoner. There is no, shortcut actually for coming up with the OKR. The employee has to put his heart and soul, understand what is OKR, how to draft it, and that's how he has to start drafting. And as he starts, growing in the OKR ladder, he'll become very much expert in the overall process, and he will start even guiding the other employees, even the new joiners as such. And on to the best practices. Yes, let us remember it's going to be a performance driver, and keep it overall OKR numbers very less, which will be really good, so that you focus only on that area, and then keep it on a quarterly basis with the complete transparency and alignment. Let us make sure that the alignment is taken care, and regular check-in is pretty important here. Maybe a weekly or fortnightly or a monthly, but regular check-in is pretty important, so that we avoid performance or overall surprises at the end of the quarter. Even if the employee achieves 60 to 70%, yes, he is considered as a good performer. Let us remember the target set for the employee was, say, ambitious, correct? For example, a developer is given a target of 0 errors, which is very ambitious in nature, right? Though, after he completes the entire coding part, he, does the self-review, then he gives it to the testing team, for example. Here, the target for him is to do the coding with 0% errors. So even if he makes, say, 60-70% of that target, which is really a good thing. And from Synergita's side, this is what we have got. The employee using the Synergita, employee can set his own objectives and key results. He can update the regular achievement part of it, so that the manager can anytime track and get to know what is happening. And then employee will be able to view the other employees' OKR sheet, including the CO. Of course, it's all optional. And the measurement of the objectives can be in different ways and means, as you see there. And in order to increase the operational efficiency as part of the regular Synergita's belief, we hereby provide the email notifications for creation, editing, and deletion of objectives. And another interesting factor in Synergita is that the OKR can be configured for a set of employee. For example, you can enable the OKR as a first step to only the managers, so that managers will understand, first of all, what is OKR. Let them get used to the OKR culture, maybe a couple of quarters, and then the same can be rolled down to the other employees, so that they will be able to better transition the OKR culture to their team members. On the other side, you can have a different combination actually. For example, only the managers will have OKR, all other employees will have SMART goals, or all employees will have OKR, or all employees will have OKR as well as SMART goal. So such kind of combinations are quite possible in Synergita. On to the benefits part, yes, the alignment is pretty much taken care, and focus. Clearly, we know where to focus, and productivity is increasing, and frequent processing really helps us to ensure that the mid-course corrections are taken care, and transparent and accountability is really very high among the employees. And the combination of evaluation models we have discussed already, and OKR is set right in front of the employee all the times, one direction for all employees. And most important thing, we are tracking the outcome and not the output here. And I would like to share some of the screenshots from our product. So this is about the company objectives, whereby the organization has got its own objectives, and we can see that, use the view details, and clearly see further the key results within which the updates will be provided for the key results. So this is on the company side, and on the team side, this is what we have. This is how it is going to be shown in the screen. And onto the employee part, on the My OKR, which is pretty much available as of now, the employee can very well create his own OKR just like that in very simple and easy steps. It's a clear-cut, straightforward case here. He creates the short description, detailed description, and other attributes like dates, etc. And then he creates key results. Once it's all done, the employee will start updating his achievements on a periodical basis, and the status is taken care automatically. The right side top, where we have the in progress, that automatically changes from yet to start to in progress, then to completed. Similarly, as the employee updates the achievements in the key results using this bar, actually, the objective bucket automatically gets filled in. So this is about the objective alignment. On the left side, we have increased recurring revenue is an objective with which, on the right side, we have the objective which is aligned, and the owner also, whose objective, which objective is aligned with the increased recurring revenue is displayed here in the screen. And this is about the dashboard, where we can see the detailed picture of the OKR. And to highlight the existing and future releases, yes, this is what we have today. As of now, we can implement the My OKR part for the employee dimension, whereby employee can create his own objective and key results, and he can carry on all the activities. Manager can review. And in the phase 2, we have the other features, starting with widget to company objective. And in the phase 3, you will have the reports primarily focused on. So that's about our updates on the future releases.
It was a wonderful session. And thank you, audience. I have a couple of questions for you, Raj. And before we jump into questions, OKR is more about in the sense it's besides tracking goal. The main objective benefits of the OKR is being more disciplined, focus, prioritize what you have to do. Look at your more journey, OKR journey as an entire organization perspective. Have a clear communication and alignment within your company and team, and measure your success. So the discipline and prioritization and focus are very, very important so that you can achieve your goals. And with the current OKR release or module that we are doing is, even though you're currently using your performance management, the OKR can be subscribed for a certain set of employees. For example, you wanted to actually do a OKR journey, begin your OKR journey with the leadership team, and probably you want to see if I can subscribe it for my 10% of my workforce or all my managers and above. It is available. So right now, as Raj said, this is a version 1 that we have launched, and we are in the process of launching our next version by August 2020, and our full-fledged OKR with dashboards and everything are supposed to be up and running by October right now. It has come out very well, and I have a couple of questions. So anyway, as part of my discussion, I actually started answering. Raj, when should an organization start using OKRs? Is there any timeline that they should start, or
Um, I don't see such kind of timelines, Narayanan. Basically, as I mentioned in the presentation, the organization, first of all, as they identify the internal, the cultural factors and the internal necessity and the internal clearance is pretty much important on the cultural dimension of it. And then once it's all ready, the even we have organizations as small as say 30 employee sized organizations, they have got already when OKR implemented as such. So there are no such restrictions, as well as organizations can do this irrespective of their the time periodicity or their age in the market, whatever it is. Organizations, they can very well achieve the excellence. As you see, Google implemented when they were having 70 employees in the organization, right?
okay?
So whether you are a new startup company or already an established, very well positioned in the market, irrespective of all these kind of background or factors, you can very well implement here, provided you have that urge and culturally you are ready for that.
Okay, great, great. Thank you, Raj. Raj, I have one more question here. Should I set the OKR from top to bottom or vice versa? What would you suggest is what the question for us is?
Okay, nice question actually. I have seen both these things, in different organizations as such. As you see, there are no hard and fast rules. First of all, it also depends on the individual organization. As you see, the company OKR is the one who really sets the overall direction. From where
Mhm.
you want to have a team OKR, or if you do not want to have a team OKR, you can directly go on with the employee OKR. And automatically, the company OKR, as the employee aligns himself with the organization's OKR, so automatically this alignment happens. The primary factor here is all about the alignment. As a team or as an employee, how are we aligning with organization OKR? Because straight away picking up the organization OKR or the key results of organization, uh, making that as team's objective, it is, there is a mixed opinion in the market as such. There are OKR experts, there are few experts say that it is recommended, but there are few who really talk about, because that really restricts. If I pick up my organization OKR, the key results, the KR, and make that as my team's objective. So what happens? My thought process stops there, which the OKR culture doesn't recommend that way. So it says, so there is a mixed opinion. So that is where we have to take baby steps. First of all, ensure that the employees are understanding OKR, the culture is influenced, and then we can move on based on the internal dynamics.
Now I have one more question. I have few other questions, but we'll make this as a last question as such, right? Is there a place that I can get a set of examples for OKR? Is there's something that I can take it from right away from somewhere as such actually? Raj, high level, I would probably answer a bit, then probably you can continue on this. So there is nothing as such as a standard OKR which can be defined and taken across, right, Raj? So it is more of an organization specific and what do I want to achieve? OKR is a journey by itself, and you have to start living it as such. So in case today you decide that I have to probably achieve something in next 3 years or next 18 months, it is not that I just go and take an example of OKR, incorporate it to the system, just keep following. So instead of that, I strongly believe create our own kind of a journey towards that, set your objective, track your key results, then go forward. But there are several OKR coaches who probably come and travel along with you during the journey, and they come in handy. They understand your business and they say what your OKR has to be, how should it look. Should it be a top-down approach? Should it be only for the top management? Those are things which are already available. In case you want some answers, we definitely will be able to help you. But we at Synergita are more, yes, we do also have quite a few OKR coaches, but what we do is it's more towards building our product and the journey for the product as such. And I strongly believe there are not going to be examples or OKR templates that are going to be available, right, Raj?
I mean, partially it is correct, Narayanan. Thing is that
Okay.
I would recommend the origin as actually. I would recommend the Bible of OKR, which is the book by John Doerr, Measure What Matters.
Okay.
So from there, the employee, I mean, the organization, the aspirants, they can start working on their OKR. I have seen, as I mentioned, I have seen organizations with as small as 30 or 40 employees sized. They started working on OKR using the book, and they have already established their own OKR internally, and that is one way of doing it. Other thing which I normally see in the market is the second way of doing it is getting the consultants, as you mentioned, consultants assistants at the I mean basic level. For example, they come to your organization, they train you on what is OKR, how are you supposed to I mean imbibe the culture, educate others. They train the OKR ambassadors. They make OKR ambassadors. That is second level. Third type of the resources, getting the consultants to the fuller length, whereby the consultants will stay with you through the entire exercise. For example, they will be with you for around, say, 1 or 2 quarters or 1 year, for example, based on the agreement, and ensure that the will be taken into the employee's heart, and that's how they assist. So there are different options, and there are a lot of materials available in the internet as well. But of course, I mean, as Narayan rightly pointed out, nothing can be bringing in the personalized for the organization. Me picking up something from the market, that is fine as far as for the understanding sake is concerned. I want to understand what is OKR, how can I write OKR for that portion. The materials which are available in the market can help, right? But to my organization, my team, to my own individual job role, if I want to write down OKR, I have to sit back, use whatever I have understood so far, write down that, then approach the ambassador, for example. So that is how I would prefer to do that.
Thank you, Raj. Raj, we have a couple of more questions, but in the interest of time, I think we'll close this right now and we'll answer this questions over an email. Thank you, team. We will definitely reply back to. I have a couple more questions, but we will definitely reply back to the email with the questions as such. And it was wonderful having you all. And we will be happy to, in case you wanted to look at a product demo of what currently we have on the version 1, we'll be happy to do. Please just reply back or write to us to know more about our current version of the product. And in case you want to subscribe, please get in touch with your account managers and let's talk and see how we can travel together in the OKR journey. Once again, thank you all. Thank you, Raj. It was a wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Narayanan.